Hello everybody, my name is Antoine. Welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 New Orders America. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, wars are breaking out in the Middle East. So very soon, we are going to have the oil crisis, which is not great. We have sent some volunteers to Yemen. So hopefully, we can, polls have updated. How are we looking? Just a collapse for us. And actually, it's going to have the RDC pull ahead a little bit, which does not great. At least right now, based on the predictions. But our units are going to be arriving there. They'll be there on the 24th, so a few more days. I mean, it looks like the capital's right there. And if we can... I don't think there's a way to slow down the oil crisis. It's not like if we kill Yemen fast enough that stops the other states from collapsing. I don't believe that's how that works. Okay, the Germans have arrived now. But I think if we take Sana, is it just Germany that sent volunteers? Yes. And it's me and Italy. So, I mean, we do have more units in the area. Can I send air units? No. Okay. No air units for now. What are our other modifiers here that we can actually do in Yemen? Can I blow them up? Air support. Yes, we'll do some air support here. Involvement is still very low. Are you actively at war with Italy itself? No, you're not. Our units are on their way. Looks like Germany sent 2 truck divisions, which I don't know how useful that'll actually be. But if we can take Sana, I don't know that's going to capitulate them immediately, but, I mean, it is their current capital, so we'll be looking good either way. Dirt unearthed. Barry Goldwater picked up the phone on the first ring, answering tersely before he froze, hearing his daughter's voice in the other end. Dad, somebody broke in. His daughter Joanne's voice, quiet and scared, made him raise from his desk. They only took the letters you wrote me, but they made such a mess. Her voice trailed off, and he heard a sob. His heart was pounding. This is no ordinary robbery. Darling, he said, call your mother, then call the police. Don't look at the news and do not pick up the phone. Rage bubbling up within him. He began to pace his office, waiting for the hammer to fall. He didn't have to wait long. A day later, the Washington Post had published one of the stolen letters. He read the newspaper, hands whitening as he gripped the pages tighter and tighter. Senator Barry Goldwater of Arizona, a noted conservative fire band, has revealed to have paid for an illegal abortion for his daughter, Joanne, after she became pregnant in college. Using his connections and wealth, he arranged for the procedure to be conducted in Virginia. Senator Goldwater declined the comment, citing his family's privacy. He knew why this had been done. This was a dirty trick by the Kennedy administration to discredit him, to shut him up and halt his criticism. They thought that the shame, that the ignominy would be enough to silence him. They had miscalculated. He sat down and began to write a speech. A parent roused for war. This will begin a controversy that will follow the RDC for 3 weeks, impacting coalition unity by 2%. Excellent. We're not going to worry about the sovereigntist. We'll investigate the John Birch Society as well. The thing is, the sovereigntists are just, like, not popular. So I don't see a reason to even worry about them in any way, shape, or form, honestly. Yes, we're going to go up here, and then 2. We'll keep on marching northwards. And a dispatch from Cairo. Cairo, Egypt. Regimes in the Middle East have taken... Regimes in the Middle East these days look like an old rotting tree. Many are wobbling, but it's hard to predict where they'll fall. Here in Egypt, the situation is no different. Inspired by the uprising in neighboring countries, citizens in Cairo this week took to the streets to protest the government that they claim is more beholden to Italian interests than their own. The unrest, a loud, phlegm-filled cough, forced Mark Daniels, Chicago Tribune, to look up from his portable typewriter. Standing before him in a cramped hallway of the hotel was a man dressed in the uniform of the Egyptian palace guard. In the corners of his mouth was a large cigar. He removed the cigar and made another gruttle noise with his throat. You are the American, asking around for... He twirled his hand for holding a cigar. Sources? Mark gave a confused smile. I'm on a deadline, but yeah, of course. And you are? The man stuck the cigar back in his mouth. I can get you the palace for $30 American. Mark Daniels blinked. He blinked again. Do you have any idea how many people I've had to bribe already today? The taxi driver was going to let some religious fanatics kill me unless I gave him $5, and a police officer outside threatened $20 American for a big-time scoop. As you say, no one else has this offer, said the man. Based on the expensive cigar, Mark somehow doubted that this was true. Maybe a photographer and a extra $5, and you can get some nice photos for your bosses. Mark massaged the bridge of his nose. The Tribune's accounting department was going to kill him for subsidizing the income of every cook and guard, policeman, and bureaucrat in Egypt. But they knew how to get the sources, and he wasn't about to lose out on an exclusive for the fucking Times. He sat down his typewriter and took out his wallet. I'll give you $10. That's final. I mean, that's $1970, man. That is an offer that you cannot refuse. Change of leadership for the Sovereign-gist. Political power goes down by 100. Thank you. I fucking appreciate that. Very happy to see it. Okay, examine the police forces. We need... What are we at right now for... We're still a dangerous progressive for the time being. Let's do... Is there anything over here yet? No, just for the OFN. And that doesn't matter. We're going to do Watch of the Watchmen. The Prince of Fairness. You know, Robert, Kennedy almost imperceptibly winced, the rage of his VP barely escaping from his muted tone, both men having sat across the room each other in the Oval Office. When we've investigated Hoover's den of vipers, I was expecting us to take off his fingers from everyone's pies, not to give him executive permission to do as you do it at your own whim. We need mean to fight back, guy. By what? Sicing the FBI on, sicking the FBI and whoever we don't bloody like, Bobby? And you would prefer living every moment in fear of Thurman and his bloody Dixies? Robert exploded, standing up from his seat, his eyes gaze and his eyes brimming with fury. You were there with me from the beginning. You know this road wasn't ever going to be clean. We can stand in our moral high ground and pretend the opposition is not pulling strings at every moment to deny us every inch of victory. Robert's gaze softened. His expression muted, relaxed from fury and outrage to a sorrow, guilty expression. I can't fail them too, guy. I can't fail America. The silence in the room stretched for a long minute before the scraping sounds of the chair indicated the VP had stood up, and he left the room with a simple sentence. One that all but braided the president's heart like a hot iron. John is dead, Robert. Stop living for a dead man's sake. Peace security, political power minus 25. That is okay for us. We need to keep on pushing our way up north. There's better cryptology. I'm not going to really worry about any of that stuff for now. And what about foreign policy? Thing is, I don't think we need to send more support to Yemen. I think the 3 divisions that we sent are more than enough to actually win. It's the economy, damn it. Hey, okay, so I think we succeeded in our points here, right? Smoking mirrors. Now they want 588 billion. These guys are crazy. That's okay. Prediction is still neutral for the progressives, but we are insurrection in Oman, so that's gonna be another war we're gonna have to get ourselves involved in. Despite pledging to serve and protect every American citizen, it's an open secret that racism taints the police departments of America like black mold on an old plaster. Unfortunately, a career in the police appears to attract the kind of people that have regressive views and enjoy using their power to beat down people that they don't like, and anyone who looks like them sideways while they do it. And a tacit approval from the brass doesn't help matters. Every week, more reports come in of black people being harassed, wrongfully arrested, beaten, and yes, killed by policemen in cities all across the nation. This epidemic of racist violence against American citizens by the men who are being paid to protect them must be stopped. This morning, President Kennedy gave a speech in the Capitol, fervently denouncing the systemic racism of law enforcement, and promising to root out the un-American racists entrenched within the nation's police. Thurman responded by calling the president a witch hunter in the Senate, but we can't let the craggy old lizard in Washington stop us. We must stop this injustice wherever it takes. By the way, is that making us, Okay, we're so dangerous, progressive. I think the final one is, like, an existential threat. So we're going to try to make sure we do not get to that point. Okay. First things first, we've won the war in Yemen. Step 1 of our victory has been completed. Next up, Oman. Finished. Victory. Can I send troops to Oman immediately? So we're fighting for Oman, not the imminent of Oman. How many troops can we send? 1. But is that true? Or can we actually send, like... Okay, right now it says 1. Foreign policy, foreign view. Air support. E, please. Industrial support for Oman is not really going to be that important. I think we just need to send in a troop. So let's send in the 96th Deadeye Division with Ben Harrell in charge. Send him over to Oman. Oh, now it says 3. Okay. Let's also send a mechanized in there as well. Why not? Scroll down to you. Send those 3 boys. Royalist victory in Yemen. So we've won the first fight. There's also... Okay, war hasn't broken out in Iraq yet. But it will soon. But luckily, the Imit is fighting a 2-front war. Egypt is now in conflict as well. We don't have any points for you quite yet. But we can send volunteers immediately. We can send another 3. Let's send over you. And you know what? Let's send in 2 tank divisions. Send volunteers. Can I send any air volunteers? Yes, I can. I can send 2. Order has collapsed in Egypt. And we can send in... Oh, yeah, I disbanded all my planes, didn't I? Well, most of them. Can I deploy you here? No. We can send in tactical missiles. Let's just send these 200 fighters. Have you have some air support over Egypt, please. Foreign policy. Increased commitment. Goes up by 8. The more resources we send to our support actions, the more we'll gain once the conflict ends. Air support for Egypt. Increased commitment. We now have minor support. Solid NPP campaign. War is broken out now in Iraq as well. The elections are underway. Everything is kind of happening at the same time here. And I don't know which Italian faction we... Or not Italian. Which Iraqi faction we back. It seems like the answer is going to be just Iraq. Which is fine. Yeah, the ones that are in the Italian sphere. We can send you 4 divisions. So let's just send in these 4 guys. We'll throw in you. I know you're going to be a general for a different army, but I don't care too much about that right now. Oh, I should have actually also sent in my air volunteers as well, if that was possible. I should have checked. But we can do that in a few days anyways. On the 10th, so tomorrow. Can I send you air volunteers? 1 air wing. I will do it. And let's get you deploy. I want strike craft. Yeah, I want 1 of you. And you're going to fly your way to Egypt when you can. When are you deployed? You'll be deployed on the 12th. Then you can fly your way over to Egypt. There we go. Now fly to Egypt. A father's fury. Looking around the Senate chamber, Barry Goldwater felt a brief rush of fear. The speech in his hands was one of the most significant of his career, and a wave of emotion since his daughter's call still had not fully passed. His career, his family, his legacy, all hung in the balance, and he cursed those who had stolen his letters. Rising, speech in hand, he began to speak. Recently, the Washington Post published a story about my daughter. I cannot comment on whether the allegations are true or not, as I believe this is a private, personal matter that should never have left the convoys of my family. Those who broke into my daughter's home, terrifying her, and stole personal effects, should be ashamed of themselves, and I hope they will, if caught, be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. His voice had a steadfast as he continued his speech, and his eyes upon the nation upon him. I believe in limited government, properly restrained and limited by our founding documents. I cannot see how the state intervening in private and personal medical decisions is consistent with that ethos. I ask for your privacy and respect as my family grapples with this reminder of a difficult time for us. Now the volcanic rage bubbled up within him as he turned to the last page. I believe this theft and leak was motivated by my opposition to the Kennedy administration. If this was an attempt to silence me, then it has failed, and I will not stop speaking out on behalf of the people and the Constitution. It should concern every citizen that the president or his allies, when faced with Tenential's opponent, resorted to dirty tricks rather than open debate. Okay, become a little bit more liberal on domestic policies. Our volunteer forces will arrive on the 16th and the 14th, respectively. This is, yeah, transport. And then the other one, advanced motorized. Okay, so our units have arrived now over here. I don't know if you even have a capital, honestly. But your job is just to push away to the end of Oman. Okay, because this is like a two-way war, the AI gets a little bit confused. Okay, that is war in Sudan. I don't know if we care about Sudan as much. We do want to support you in this direction, though. The answer is yes. We care about all of these people. Air support for the Republic of Iran. Industrial support for Egypt. For now, notable. Who do I care about here? Which one of you is backed by Italy? You are. Okay, the Republic of Sudan. We can send... Is this another where we can send 4? Yes. So it's like 4 now is like the default. Put you here. And we're going to send that 4 stack to Sudan. Get that going. We're going to have troops basically everywhere. Which is fine. There's our troops in Egypt now. Who are you at war with? Everybody. But let's deal with the northern front first. Are you the entirety of the Islamic Brotherhood? No. But you're the ones that are in the north. And there is the oil crisis. I knew it would happen. Let's just do a quick save here so I can use it for the thumbnail. Now, I'm not happy about the oil crisis, right? For obvious reasons. Okay, this has actually been cleaned up extremely well. Actually, you guys have actually done a fantastic job. So you guys instead then are just going to push away down the Nile. As I feel like that just is the most obvious thing for you to do. There's our troop in Baghdad now have arrived as well. And soon we're going to get a pop-up about the oil crisis, and it's going to be like, hey, everything's shit. Now, I don't know if Syria is going to rise up. They're in the Turkish sphere, which is a little interesting. Japan has sent volunteers here, which is annoying as hell. But we need you to support your push in Nazwa. Because you are getting support from the Japanese. You're getting support from the Germans. Okay. You are getting support from Germany. You are getting support from Japan. And you are just nobody. Okay. Well, let's go kill you first. Give us the air support that we can. And we want the Iraqi volunteers to push their way down south. The Egyptian volunteers, I mean, you can just kind of go for it when you're actually in the area. The machine falters. Like any engine worth its name, the American economy functions as a continuous flow of oil. Its bitumen paved the country's many thousands of miles of highways. Its petrol, kerosene, and diesels fuel the trucks, planes, and ships, and cars transferring money and goods from city to city. Its naphtha and gas compose many chemicals and heats many homes. Whether from rigs off of Louisiana's coast or the bountiful wells of the Arabian Peninsula. Cheap oil is a linchpin keeping the world's strong economy strong from the bottom up. When one sunny day, in the turn of a decade, oil prices quadrupled to $12 a barrel. And like an engine with neither lubricant nor fuel, the world's strongest economy sputters into a sudden stop. Pandemonium strikes Wall Street's floors as indexes dovetail past their turros with no signs of slowing down, let alone stopping. Main street fares look better. Look only at the mile-long lines of cars outside gas stations across the country, both awaiting shipments of fuel that will never come. As conversations spark abroad, the crisis they have brought to America's shores have skyrocketed the price of goods while simultaneously keeping people from earning money for them. In other words, a cataclysm poised to stunt, even reverse, a decade of growth. America turns dependency desperately to Capitol Hill for an answer to the world's first ever oil shock. Congress turns desperately to the White House for solutions to the quandary that evades modern economic thought. A buck has now landed on the Resolute desk. When and how shall its occupant respond? So we now... I don't know if this is going to get abandoned. It might. Can I cancel it? Yes, I'm going to cancel it for now. So now we should have... Yes. Running on fumes. 21 days. It's not great. I didn't know these were actually 50-50 chances. We're going to ignore those for now, because I have more important things that we kind of have to deal with. Namely, trying to fix our horrible oil situation. Any 1970. We have 1972 infantry weapons, so, you know, we will take that. I think that seems decent. Send this tank to you. Motorized, let's go and push away towards the border of Saudi Arabia. I don't believe Saudi Arabia has a conflict. Okay, the Iraqi Republic has fallen. That's good news for us, because that is one of our adversaries here. I don't know if you're the only area of the Ba'athist Iraq, but we'll try our best. So, Sudan, we're going to have you go here. You're going to move your way south like this. Let's just assign you any commander. I don't really care who. We'll go with the guy with the eye patch. He seems as good a choice as any. Yeah, and you're going to draw a line like so. Can I send a 4th division here now? Yes. Okay, so let's send over... a Marine, why not? It's just the first guy I clicked. So let's send over the reinforcement. That's the wrong Egypt. Yeah, so send him over. Do they have any other cities in the north? That one is actually not a, Can I go straight to Basra with my units here? I don't know. I thought we moved a unit to this capital. Apparently not. But there goes the Arab Republic of Iraq has collapsed. And what that means for us is that the Iraqi war is actually going to end very, very, very soon. We've won in Yemen. I mean, we were lucky to win so fast. Okay, we'll push you back. On empires. Walking down the ruined streets of Damascus was surreal. Ancient houses were blown with shell holes. The walls of churches that had once served worshippers from extinct dominations were visited by bullet wounds. And all of this was in one of the less war-torn countries in the Middle East. Thomas Ward could scarcely hide his awe. The local translator assigned to him, a deeply cynical man in Ward's eyes, must have noticed. Pressured to fill the silence with something, Thomas went on in one of his impromptu speeches. He was planning to write about the visit, after all. Better rehearse what he had going to send to the New York Times. Now, what you see here is the result of a minor skirmish in the grand scheme of things, right? A minor skirmish compared to what's happening in Baghdad, Cairo, hell, even Adan, and yet it's horrific. There's no explanation. The man beside him hardly stirred, which he took as a sign to keep talking. Some say that Syria has been spared the worst of the crisis. I can't say that in good conscience, as I stand amidst the results of a small standoff between the government forces and a single armed resistance group. You know, perhaps the country was spared from for a reason. The Turks were notorious for their violations of human rights in the region, going as far back as the old Ottoman Empire. And a new Italian empire somehow made them look kind. Many may have forgotten the Italo-Turkish War, the Second Italian-Turkish War. That's a distinction most people don't bother to make. But I was here. This age of empires has had an incomprehensible effect on the people of the country. The translator cut him off. And it's not going to be over anytime soon. Why? The Germans are in shambles, hardly able to look away from Europe. The Japanese regime is cracking under the weight of its own bloated leadership. There's another such empire. I'm not here to accompany an agent of the Germans or the Japanese, am I? It's the same power that funded the resistance group that did this. The men gestured at the nearby pool of blood. They spent the rest of the talk in silence. But I will say with that, there's going to be a good time for us to end off this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.